Well, is my mic on? Is my mic on? Thank you. Hallelujah. We are live. Welcome to Don't Think Too Hard with eToy. It's an experience podcast. Um, as you know, this is a mental health podcast. This is also mental health awareness month, and my anxiety just was going crazy just now because first of all, if y'all already know, y'all been watching. I have such problems with my internet because I live by the airport. So guess what? I tried to go live at 8:06 and StreamYard had the nerve to say traffic is handling. Please wait 30 to 60 seconds and try again. So I have no control of how this internet is just going to work. Like I said, I have all the top of line stuff. Everybody wants to stream now, all of a sudden on Thursday at 8 p.m. when I stream, and they blocking up the traffic when I already have the airport holding me back. Nam ya ni de cake, yo. Gotta pull it together. Had to pull my anxiety together right quick and say, you know what? This must going to be an excellent show. Why? Because when you bring the message to the masses, that's very, very important. You always going to have an obstacle. You always going to have a challenge. So you know what I'm here for. So moving right along. Y'all know how we do. We always got to say a prayer because we got to get that energy up out of here. Where's my water? Where's my water? Oh, me, tutu. You like tutu. Oh, not tutu. I ask the Most High to come in and bless this podcast. I ask the Most High to come in and give me the words to say out my mouth. May I have a sound mind and a sound heart. And those who have an ear, let them hear. And whoever shall seek this message and need this message, Father God, Most High, please let them come through and get this message. I appreciate you and I thank you in advance for all that you are about to do. And may everyone that's watching this podcast and who's on this podcast will be blessed. I give thanks. I share. So we're going to move right along. I am so grateful for my guest that we are having today. Her name is Sacred Woman Practitioner Providencia Lopez. And the topic today is testimony of sobriety. And she's going to come in and she's going to tell her journey. But the reason why I'm so elated about this conversation about sobriety because sobriety is just not about alcohol. As y'all know, I've been on this mental health journey for some time, and within my spirituality, especially within Yoruba, the Yoruba African spirituality, that pantheon, it teaches us that we have to have a sober mind. We can't be drunk with thoughts, and I realized that one day. Sometimes, you could just be so overwhelmed with such negative thoughts and it feel like you're under a trance. Have that ever happened to you? You're going through such an ordeal, such a hard time, and you're just so stressed out, and you only thing that you can hear is just negative thoughts, negative thoughts, negative thoughts. And then you actually start to listen to it, and then you actually stuck. You stuck and you sitting there for a while entertaining these thoughts because it's a drunken mind. And we have to have a sober mind and in order for us to hear the divine message that's coming from our ancestors, that's coming from our spirit guides, that's coming from the Most High, that's coming from your higher self. A lot of times when I'm going through my little bouts with anxiety and frustration, I'm the type of person that likes everything to run smoothly. So if it doesn't run smoothly, I kind of have a little fit, me as a grown woman, and it'd be a fit from the inside. I really don't, everyone really doesn't see that it's internal, but those thoughts, but what about this? And what about that? To the point where I said to myself, it's like a spell is over me. And you literally have to just shake yourself out of that and say, no, I am not those thoughts. And then I start to observe the thinker because I realize I am not the thinker. A lot of times, it's most of the time it's our ego. Most of the time, it's the identity that we are attached to, our old identity, the past us. You know what else I also realized, and I'm just saying this, I'm giving a little spoiler alert. I was journaling um a few days ago, and Spirit said to me, you still go through the same obstacles because you haven't realized that you say you're on a resurrection journey, but you haven't realized that you are resurrected. Every time you have a spiritual reawakening, you have resurrected. You don't have to wait. You can have a resurrection tomorrow. You can have a resurrection every day. As a matter of fact, every day that you rise is a resurrection. And they said that you are still attached to the identity of the past you, and you're in a new situation on a new path, and you're still doing and acting as if you're still that person, and you're not. That's why anxiety is able to attack you at times. That's why the ego is able to attack you at times. That's why sometimes you get drunken with those thoughts. So I pray for a sober mind, and this message is so profound to me, especially Mefedafun or Batala. Thank you every day of my life. He is about a sober mind, a sober mind, and I'm so grateful for him, and I'm so grateful for this conversation that's getting ready to happen. So without further ado, I'm getting ready to introduce my sacred sister all the way from Atlanta. Okay, yes, from Atlanta, baby. From the A. She is such an amazing woman. She is such a profound woman. She is a queen. She is an empress. She is a goddess, honey. Okay, when she tell you her story and she tell you how she came through the mud, and to see her, and we came through the mud together. We shed tears together when we went through the Queen of War camp. To see her and her talk about the things that she wanted to manifest in her life, and she's actually manifested that, and she used to always doubt herself, why it's taking so long, and why this, and her ancestors to smack her over her head and say, it's going to be your time when it's your time. Slow down. And now look, she has blossomed, honey. So without further ado, let me bring in Sacred Woman Practitioner. Wait, before I bring her in, hold on. I know I'm stalling a little bit, but I got to bring it in the right way. I just want to say the things that she has also accomplished before she comes in. Like I said, Sacred Woman Practitioner, for the Queen of Four rites of passage. She's a master condor coach, helping people integrate psychedelics, bridging the gap between psychedelics and sobriety. And she has been sober for 6 years. And let's not to mention, I was a guest on her podcast, on her show, Bridging the Gap. Without further ado, let's welcome Sacred Woman Practitioner, Providencia Lopez.
Listen, you're showing out on me today. Yes. I
Because
was
you
like,
deserve
when
it.
you in the A. What's up? I am so
Hey,
happy to be on
honey.
your podcast, Empress Etoy. Oh,
Thank you,
thank you for that
Queen.
introduction. So kind of you. Like I'm over here like, oh, Jesus, thank you.
Yes,
Let's go.
that's
Let's
you.
you.
That's you.
I
That's all you.
appreciate
You know,
you.
you got to get your flowers. I
You know
appreciate you,
what?
sister.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me my flowers because I was thinking about as I was, getting prepared today, our journey. And I was just like, I love our sisterhood, even from our lock journey. We got our lock journey at the same time.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying? Like
we
we
did.
all came through the mud,
Yes,
blood, sweat, tears, late night
tears,
talks.
walks.
We were right there. So thank
Yes.
you so much for this beautiful introduction. It is an honor to be on your podcast. This is my first time, y'all, on StreamYard. So I am so excited. I am so happy and grateful to the Most High.
Ashe.
Thank you, Etoy, for having me. I appreciate it, Empress.
Thank you for accepting the invitation. You know, I had to have you. Like, come on. So,
I'm
I just
so
want to
excited to get
I
into
want
this
to
conversation.
I was about to say I want to jump right into it because you have a testimony, a testimony that you can relate to, but people can relate to you, and you can be able to motivate the masses. So, who was Pravi? Who was Providencia Lopez?
First I want to say thank you for the introduction when you were talking about the sober mind. Because when you talked about that, you really touched on a lot of things when it comes to negative self-talk and putting yourself in the victim space. A lot of people relapse in their sobriety because their mind isn't sober, right? So for me, my sober journey started when I was younger. My mother gave me alcohol. She was the first person to ever give me alcohol. And she was just testing it
Mm,
out because my father was an alcoholic. And she was on some, let's just see if you'll get drunk
mm,
like your dad. And right then and there, she knew that I would not be able to handle my alcohol because I was just gone. Like I was a little kid, just taking a couple of spoonfuls, she was at a dinner table. And when I was with my mom, she was the first person to ever give me alcohol. But for me, my sober journey, I would say went into waves. There was times when I wasn't a heavy drinker. Then there was times when I was just a fun drinker. Then there was times when I was a depressed drinker, right? And as we're on the heels of mental health awareness, it's so important for us to talk about when you do decide to drink, what thoughts are you having when you're drinking? Is your mind sober? Is your mind
mm.
at ease? And when to know when to pull back in your drinking, right? To say, you know what, maybe I need help. Maybe I need to get some interventions or phone someone or just, being radically honest with yourself. And so for me, it happened in 2018. I was with my two daughters in a very narcissistic relationship. And I still put the full responsibility on myself because I'm not going to ever put myself in a victim space. And I got into an altercation with my partner at the time, and I drove home drunk with my kids. And he said, I'm going to put a warrant out for your arrest. Get ready, whatever. The first thing I thought was like, I need to go get help. I was in the car with my kids, driving reckless, headed home from his house. And I was like, it's time for me to get help. I reached out to my father. My father's been sober for about 38 years. I reached out to my father and he was like, you need to go to AA. And I will say at the time in my life when my back was
Mm.
against the wall and I had no out, AA was the best option for me at the time. And when you see your life spiraling, going really, really fast, and it's going in the opposite direction, like you see yourself, doing different things that better yourself, but that negative self-talk hits and you see yourself spiraling, I was like, I got to go get some help. I can't do this. But I will say this, on my father's side, alcoholism is very prevalent. My father's been sober for 38 years. So it's something that I always knew could
Oh,
come
God
up.
bless him.
Say again. Can you
I
hear me,
say,
Etoy?
God bless him.
Yes,
I can
yes.
hear
So it
you.
was
God
something that
bless him.
okay, okay. Yes, yes. Mine is a little delayed too. So, my internet is a little shaky itself. So it was one of those things where
It's
I
all
had to really sit there and ask myself, if this is my path, then how can I change it so my children don't have to go through this same thing and never see that version of me ever again? You know what I'm saying? So I was so happy. I was so grateful when I got into the AA container. And then, my life started to change. It started to get better. But then, even as it started to get better, that negative self talk, that non sober mind started to come
Mhm,
back into play. And it's so
mhm,
interesting that you said that because it's always that non sober mind that comes in and tries to attack the very thing that you're trying to rebuild. You know what I'm saying? And it's always in the rebuild or the pivot where that's when I'm not doing it right. I have to be perfect at this. I have to be a perfect mother, a perfect this. And that perfectionism gets into your head and it starts to jumble your thinking. So I was so happy and grateful once I start to slow that down. Then I started to get into other containers where we saw met each other with Queen Afua. Then I started to get in other containers with doing master coaching and different things like that, understanding other ways that I could honor certain things about myself without taking the anonymity that's deep inside of me away. You know what I'm saying? So having the sober mind is so important. Watching the words that you say to yourself is 99.99% of it. And then when you know, like when you just said earlier in the introduction that every morning is a rebirth, if every morning I know I get a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance, and I could never fail, then why am I seeing myself as a failure? Because of past
Mm,
circumstances. You see what I'm
that
saying?
attachment to your past self, that attachment to that
Yes.
your old identity. Yes.
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 So it was almost like I had to go back to the youngest version of myself, sit with her, the teenage version of myself, the 18-year-old version of myself, then the 21-year-old version of myself. And every time I go back to bring this person back along, like, hey, girl, we here now. We're not
Mm,
over there no more. We're not in
mm,
the victim and shaming and guilt and playing the game or playing the cards. Because the more you feed that old identity of lack,
mhm,
you'll never be able to ascend to what you're becoming, nor can you enjoy
mhm,
the place that you're in and where you are. Because,
mhm.
we always talk about let's work on where we were and then let's think about where we're becoming. But let's also enjoy these moments and where we are today, because these are the precious moments that we really get to enjoy.
Shay said, oh, yeah, okay. You do me off guard there. I was putting you on your exit, putting you on the stage, the front row, and you said,
Yes, yes.
you said,
So, so,
let me.
so let's get
But
into it. Some.
I want to add something to what you said.
Oh,
You
yes,
said
yes, please.
your father had the same journey as you, and it's funny that you say that because, I come from a family that's a victim of alcoholism as well from my mother's side, which came from her father. Excuse me. What I also learned, and I said this on my last podcast, that we carry in our DNA the last 15 to 20 generations of our ancestors' memory, trauma, pain. So there's a lot of times where we are faced with adversity and we don't even know why. There's a lot of times when we do things the way we do and we can't understand, okay, well, everything is going good. Boom. Why I just had that thought out of nowhere? So kudos to you because I know your journey. Like you said, we sat on the phone and cried and
Yes.
for late nights and things of that nature for you doing your ancestral work. People don't understand how powerful that is and how strong and imminent that is and dire. It's a dire need for us. I don't care what I know we're here for us, but I don't care what nationality you are. You have to go back and you have to do your ancestral work. And as you heal your ancestors. So kudos to you for you being sober for all of these years. I'm so proud of you, Pravi. I really am.
Well, thank you so much. And I would love to kind of talk about that as well, because we have to remember, if we are the ones that are chosen
Yes,
to come on this journey, you don't get to say you want to tap out because it's hard. You don't get to say that you don't want to do something and you don't want to be the one to wear the cloak almost. You get what I'm saying? And when you carry that matriarchal sense, because when my
I get
grandmother
it.
passed away, I knew what time it was. And my grandmother passed away during our ascension. I knew what time it was. It was
I
someone who needed
remember.
to step up for the family and be able to understand the role and the importance of it. You know what I'm saying? So, we was on the floor crying. We were on the floor deep in it. And like I literally moved to the basement in my unit, just like, let me stay here. Let me ground my energy as much as possible, because this work is so important. It's so important if you are the chosen one to do the work, because you don't get days off. And when you do hear those comments, or when you do feel your ancestors and their things come up, you have to be the one to acknowledge it, and you can't be afraid. And that was the thing that I loved about Sacred Woman, meeting you, meeting all of our sacred sisters and the other practitioners, was that we were the ones to say we're no longer afraid. We're no longer going to carry any shame or guilt from what our ancestors did in the past. They did what they did. We're going to forgive them, the
Mm-hmm.
people that hurt them, the people that hurt us, and we're going to continue on this train of healing, because the healing train does not stop. It does not stop. You know what I'm saying? Even with my kids, it does not stop. It's
Ashe.
constant. It's constant. Every single day I wake up in the morning, I get a new day to either make a repair, to start over fresh, to see myself in a different lens, to
Mm,
honor myself. And it's like every single day when you have the opportunity to wake up, why mess it up by going to go get drunk because you want to escape the very thing that you need to go through? You know what I'm saying?
Ashe.
And it's
Ashe.
so important for
I
us to
agree
do
with
the work. It's so important.
you. I want to talk about the work. I'm glad you said that.
Mm. Ooh, the work be
The
working,
work,
don't it?
girl. The work is work. They don't call it work for nothing. The work is where you find your high points and your low points.
Mm.
The work
Yes.
is when you um look at you for real, meaning without the smoky glass. The work is when you go deep inside of yourself and look at those parts that you said, I don't like that part right there. And then have to accept that, and hold space for that, and hold grace for that, and still say, I love you. I love you in all the pieces that you are. Whether the broken pieces, the full pieces, the burnt pieces, the pieces I left over here. There was one time while I was doing work, I had to say, where is Etoy? Where did I leave her? Because at some point
Mm.
of my journey, I got lost. Where is Etoy and where did I leave her at? Because I need to go back and get her, you know? And that came along with the work. And the work was trying to work would have you thinking that you're crazy. But that's, I realized, because it had me going into deep parts of myself that I buried, whether I buried from being drunk from, negative thoughts, being drunk from alcohol. You could also be drunk from sleeping with different people, sleeping around. I've been there.
Yes.
You know, these are the parts of the self. These are parts of myself that I had to accept because, like you said, we don't want to face it. And one time I heard my spirit say, "You're wandering." It's even to the point where I had a dream and I
Mm.
told my godfather, he said, "You're wandering." He said, "You need to ask yourself, where are you going and are they going with you?" And as soon as he said
Mm.
that, the next week, them people was cut out of my life. So please get
And,
into the
you
work
know,
about your work and the work that you were doing and the work that how it helped you.
so for me, and thank you for sharing your story, the work for me had to come in two steps: radical acceptance and radical forgiveness.
Mm,
And the third part that I had to really realize was that I was willing to love everybody else unconditionally, but I wasn't willing to love myself to that same level of unconditional love that I would give everyone else. I wasn't able to give myself the same grace that I would give everyone else. So
mm,
for me, the radical acceptance part was like, can you accept that you slept with other people and it was toxic? Can you accept that you worked at a strip club? Can you accept that you weren't the best parent? Can you accept that you had toxic relationships and attracted toxic men? And it wasn't until I could accept that. But what really hit the switch for me was when I was willing to radically forgive it. When we can always forgive our kids for their mistakes, or our partners. This person made a mistake, I
mm.
forgive you. Our moms make a mistake. But when you can sit with yourself and radically forgive yourself, for the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, for not showing up, for going to jail, for doing all of these things. Like I got a list of things that I've done, but can I forgive those parts of me? And can I accept those parts of me and understand that I don't have to be perfect in it? Like, you know, they say God made us in the image and likeness of him, and that we're already whole, perfect, and complete. So then why am I still just torturing my own self and my own? That's ego, right? Ego will make you go through all your shame and guilt story
Yes.
over and over and over again, versus saying, I want you to forgive it, get out of the victim space so we can go and move on to the next thing. Because while you're still sitting here, um, harboring ill will and lack of forgiveness, you're only hurting yourself. You're only hurting your stomach. You're going to have gastro issues, gallbladder issues, all of these other issues because you haven't been willing to release the past version of yourself to allow this new version to come in and be like, girl, let's
Talk,
pick up these bags so we can keep it moving.
talk,
You
talk.
know? So that's what it's all about. So for
And that's
me,
how you
radical
know when you're
acceptance.
doing the work.
Yes. So radical acceptance and radical forgiveness was for me was about, and I had to use this with my mentees one time. And I even talked to a client the other day about this because she was talking about how she got back on like pill drugs. And I was like, you are keeping the story going because you won't let go of the shame and guilt. You gonna keep this cycle going because you're not willing to release yourself from all of your transgressions. Your kids will forgive you, your partners will forgive you, but have you taken the time to really, really hone in and forgive that inner person, that inner being, and say, you know what, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, we still gonna walk this walk. Because if you can forgive everybody else, but you can't forgive yourself, then that's where that switch comes in, right? So for me,
Mm-hmm.
taking that time to
Mm-hmm.
just accept it, like, girl, you was out there, yes, girl, and not hide behind the smoke and mirrors. See, here's the thing about the smoke and mirrors that nobody tell you. It looks pretty. It looks pretty because you can't see the ugly. You get what I'm saying? The smoke and mirrors is
Mm-hmm.
glossy.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you a nice silhouette. It makes it's like having a filter on your
Mm-hmm.
face. You don't get to see the small lines and wrinkles because it's just showing you just the idea, just a glimpse. You know what I'm saying? But when you take the time to really clean that mirror off, go get you some
Mm-hmm.
Windex, go get you some vinegar, and you start putting some work in and you start doing some circles like, what else do I need to take off this thing to reveal who I am? And this smoke and mirror starts to come. It breaks you down because now you are afraid of what you see. You get what I'm saying? Now you're
Mm-hmm.
questioning. And so many people who live in the world of an alcoholic mindset because they're still looking at smoke and mirrors and they're not willing to clean it. You got to be willing to clean it. And to clean it means you got to get
Mm-hmm.
ugly. You got to get honest. You got to talk the talk. You got to walk the walk. You got to show up. You got to go to meetings. And that's when it gets hard because now you got to show up for yourself. You can't show up for your kids no more. You can't show up for your partner no more. Are you willing to put yourself first in your own container, in your own connection and stratosphere within your own world? And until you can do that, then I tell people all the time, there's no need in us talking because you still want to see the cuteness. But guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Sobriety ain't cute. Sobriety is ugly. Your first year is ugly, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
that's to me what it's really, really
Preach,
all
girl.
about. It's the truth.
Mm. And you know what?
Sobriety for
And
me
that's
ain't
how you
never been
know.
cute.
And let me tell you something. And that's how you know you're doing the work because that part when you clean the windows and you see that part when you say, oh, like I said before, what is that? I don't like that part about me. But that's the part when you have to hold space for yourself. And I like how you said you was able to forgive everyone else but yourself.
Yes. And
You
that's
you had
what
you
for
had
me.
unconditional you had unconditional love for everyone else but yourself. And I always get told all the time in spiritual ceremonies or, from different modalities that you have to take care of you first. And I always talk about that at the end of my show. Have you done anything for you today?
Yes. And
You
it's
do
so,
everything for everyone else. Have you done
and
anything
it's
for
so
you
important.
today?
Yes, I am to the point in my life where, and this is something that I've had to work through, and I still work through it every day. Taking the time, and we did this heavy in Queen Afua, where we will focus on ourselves first and then give to the world, right? So every morning we would do our observations, say our prayers, do our breath work, drink our teas, ease into our morning. And it's something that goes into a good practice where you're not rushing to say yes to everybody else. How easy do we take the time to rush to jump on the phone, social media, business? We rush in here, we rush in there, and we're not moving in divine time with where our energy is flowing. And so I have been even putting even more practice to take the time to meditate more, to take the time to journey back to me. Like sometimes, like I'm on this path now where it's like I've done a lot of classes. Now I just need to sit with self. Like since 2021, we get into a place of, I want to
Mm,
say, toxic healing, where we think we have to be in every single container because there's something that we need to fix. There's nothing that you need to fix because you were never broken. You see what I'm
mm,
saying? So even in a healing space, you have to ask yourself, okay, I did this container, I did this container. Now I need to take the
mhm.
time to integrate it, to bring all these different modalities of healing and bring it back to myself so I can walk the walk of what I just learned. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm. Mhm.
And
I
so
like
it's
how you
so
said
important.
toxic healing. I actually wrote a poem called um, Trauma Healing. You heard me probably?
Yes, yes. And so that's where
Did you?
we are now
I
in a
actually, I
phase.
actually, I actually wrote a poem called Trauma Healing.
We gotta hear it. You want to talk about it? Let's get into it. Let's, because I love your poems. Like, let the world know you be on big
Oh,
stages, baby,
sure. I'm
worldwide.
ready.
Let's go then. Let's go. It's go time. Let's
Okay, well,
go.
let's go. Let's go. So as we said, it's called trauma healing. Um, so as we already just to give a little backstory, we already talked about how we find healing, in the trauma. But we don't want to heal that way anymore. But we also carry the pain of our ancestors, things of that nature, right?
Yes.
As my soul spit this fire, it's a need for higher. This regeneration is dire. Inundated with atrocities, listen to these false fallacies. This trauma's only half of me. Infinitely enlightened, this trauma can't package me. Benediction on me, tootly on me, actually that trauma manufactured the warrior in me. Hotline went flizzat. In the mental asylum, mind going whizzat. Did a self-talker said, don't worry, E, we gonna get bizat. Infatuated with subject and vibes. Dancing with the devil felt appealing, but yet throughout the trauma was healing. Ironic is what I used to say. While I used to meditate and puff on that chronic, but where's the logic? Do I enjoy the hamster wheel of self-inflicted pain? Nah. This is what happens when your ancestors' pain is deep rooted within your veins. Rooted.
Mm.
That word rooted. As I dig up the roots from the sycamore tree, using the power that my great grandmother left me from the Geechee Gullo with it. I am my ancestors' dreams, so I did these trauma demons to come run with it. To survive, my ancestors ate their own defecation. They passed the torch and I transformed their agony to a manifestation to abolish the constipation. Use and abuse, I paid my dues. Now I make my own rules, feeling the muse. How you try to figure out how I turned this trauma into a muse of healing.
Mm. That is so fire. Thank you so
Woo!
much. Yes.
No, thank you. I had to get that out.
Yes. You've been sitting on that one. And
Sacred
so
women
that's
on the
to me
move.
what it's all about. Digging up these old parts, but seeing it from a place of, I'm still whole, perfect, and complete. God made me perfect. My
Girl.
ancestors brought me through all of this to show me the other side. I didn't get Healing Your Providence and start a company and found it because my life was going great. I founded the company because I had to go through some things and go through trials and tribulations and see these lessons as blessings and not curses. Because when you're in it, you want to sit there and ask yourself why. But everything that you go through on the other side is freedom. On the other side of writing the poem is freedom. On the other side of accepting who you are um and healing those deep, dark parts of yourself, it's freedom, especially with your bloodline, especially with your bloodline. And when you're moving with them and they're fortifying you and they're going to honor you and do your altar work, whatever you decide to do, they're just going to continue to elevate you. Because I always tell people all the time, you're not going backwards. Sometimes you just have to pivot. Stop telling people you're going backwards. You're not going backwards. Sometimes you got to stop, pause, pull back, and pivot. And in those pivots, that's when you find the real grace in what you need to do, what you want to do, and what your higher self is calling you to do. Healing Your Providence was something where I was like, you know what? If this is my calling, you remember Etoy? I would call every day. Why do they have
I
me
remember.
sitting on the sidelines? And for what? For what?
I remember.
You know? And so
I
now that
remember. And that's
and
when your ancestors said, no, slow down. I remember they was like,
slow
slow down.
down.
It's okay. You got it, but it has to be at the right time. What I also notice is that we don't get our blessings when we want to get our blessings because it's not the right time, because those devils and those demons be sitting there waiting. So sometimes it
Or
has to
here's
get
the flip
cleared
side.
out.
It has to be cleared out because you're not on the right frequency to receive it. The right frequency
Mm-hmm.
to receive it. It's not just about them clearing it out. Sometimes the frequency may be here, but you're still here. And you may need to do something else to
Yeah,
get
I
here.
get
They may say,
that.
take 21 more days fasting. Do this. And you like, I got to do something else. Like in my head, I used to be like, y'all got me jumping through all these hoops to do the work that y'all want me to do. But the frequency has to hit. And once that frequency hits,
Mm-hmm.
then the alignment hits and everything goes smooth. Back in 2021, I started my
Mm-hmm.
trademarking for my business. It didn't happen until 2024 because the frequency wasn't ready. I had not gone through enough. I still needed to see things. I still needed to work on my family. I still needed to work with my mother. So I was still trying to hit it, but it didn't hit until the frequency is like, okay, she's almost there. Okay, let her try this. And then it locked in. But sometimes we want to rush the process when it's not for us to rush.
That's me. I'm learning.
I
Slow
always
down,
tell
baby
myself, I
girl.
can't
Slow down.
slow down. And you know what I love about that? And I have to think about it all the time, is that healing is not a rush job. Woo!
It's a never ending
Once
job.
I
It's a
learned
never
that,
ending job. It's never
yes,
ending. Because
never
once
ending.
you
It's a
heal one
lifetime.
thing, there's going to be something else that you need to heal. And after you heal that, it is going to be something else. And after you heal that, it's just going to keep going. But that's where the elevation comes from. You just keep being elevated to the next level. And it's a beautiful journey. It's a tough journey, but it's so beautiful. It really
Let me
is.
ask you a question. Have you ever noticed that every time you are in the getting close to ascending in something, that things, the old you starts getting triggered again with the old things that happened in your
Uh,
past?
yeah, every
So
day.
you think, right. So you think I've hit that mark,
Every
right?
day.
So every day when I ascend, like literally when I have like a really huge ascension or I've thought that I've mastered something. It's almost like the universe is like, let's give her some tests. Let's throw a little test in there. Let's work on her with her kids. Let's see what her mama gonna say. How's she gonna handle that? Let's let a lady cut her off in traffic. I'm like, oh, y'all really trying to play with me today? You know what I'm saying? Just to see, are you ready for this next level that we're bringing you to? Are you prepared? Have we prepared you enough? You know what I'm saying?
You know what I noticed about that journey also? Like you said, they want to see if you have what it takes. but also, wait, hold on. I want to shout out everybody here first. Hold on, I thought. Shout out to
Yes.
we got a lot of people in the chat today. Shout out to
Yes.
Stephanie Young. Shout out to Empress Nuba. I'm not sure if you see it. I
Yes.
was putting all of everybody's chatting in. Did you see it at the bottom?
I can't see
You
it.
didn't see it at the bottom because I was. Oh my God! I was putting everybody's stuff. Look at the bottom of the screen. Stephanie said, "Peace and
Oh,
blessings." We got
thank
Empress
you.
Nuba. She said, "Greetings, Empress Toy Queen Providencia." When you was
Peace.
talking, Stephanie said, "Absolutely." We got some say. We got Il Flicks. He says peace. Il Flicks
Peace.
said he
So
also said
happy
good
everybody's
point.
here.
We got Yanni. Peace and blessing. She was on the show at one time too. Peace and blessing. Love you, Yanni. We got Jay
Nice.
Blux. He said, "Preach, sister, preach."
We
She
don't get it in here.
triumphs. She triumphs. Said, "I release shame and guilt. I forgive myself. I share to you, sister."
Yes,
And we sending you.
Ashe.
We sending you out. And we sending you myrrh.
Sending you myrrh all day.
Um. We have everybody in here. So I just want to say thank you to you guys. Thank you so kindly. I just want to talk about, the ascension process. When
Yes.
we going throughout to our next level and those old things, come back, to eat at us. Like I said before, that attachment to our old identity, the attachment to who we was before. Also, the ego. The ego is a nasty energy. The ego
Woo.
births insecurity. The ego births impatientness. The ego births jealousy. The ego needs to be fed. And that was my point. When you trying to go to your next ascension, the ego is not being fed anymore. So now it's going to throw
Mm-hmm.
all these kind of obstacles at you because it knows your triggers. It's been with you. It's been there for you with you for so long. So it said, "Oh, okay. She thinks she gonna get away with this one. Let me see how she gonna like this. Big." Because I need to get fed, and I'm not willing to let her go or him go. The
Right.
ego is is a nasty, nasty, nasty energy. Yeah, I had to touch on that. So it's 8:48. So what are you doing now, Sacred Woman Practitioner Pravi?
Well, let me tell y'all. So I just launched my trademark. Well, my trademark just finally came around and ascended itself. So Healing Your Providence is a registered trademark company. I'm so happy and grateful for that. You can go to my website at healingyp.com. And that's where, if you're looking for other practitioners, other people to work with, or you would like to work with me doing sober coaching, I do psychedelic informed sober coaching. What I love about the people that I work with is that they've been vetted, they understand integration, and we're all here to help people ascend and heal. So if you ever want to have me at a speaking engagement, doing anything like that, just go to Healing YP, get on the discovery call. Hey, 15 minutes could save your life if you're headed down the wrong path. And I don't mind talking to
Mm,
people for free. This is the work that I do because for me, I know what sobriety and how it changed my life. Sobriety gave me a new lease on life. It gave me a reconnection with my children. And even when I misstep with them, I know how to go back and make a repair and connect with them and apologize and do different things like that. you know so it's like I in the idea for me with Healing Your Providence is bringing healing eye level, so you can understand that healing your providence is not healing everything else around you, it's healing the inside of you. And when we could take the time to heal ourselves and put in the work with us, that's how you can truly help others. So that's where I
mhm.
am. And it's, I do want to say this, Etoy, watching you do the work that you do, because I'm gonna have to give you your flowers still. I need to see your face for
Uh-oh.
this one.
Okay.
Pull up on me. Pull up on me. I want to
I'm
see your
pulling
face
up
for
right
this one.
now. I'm pulling up right now.
You know, I just want to say thank you, because I remember when you started your project and I was like, I am so proud of my sister, because she's
Oh,
taking something that I felt like at the time, because we understood mental health and sobriety and all those things, that maybe there was shame or guilt or anxiety about, and you flipped it on its head and made
mm,
that your power play. And a lot of people don't understand
mm,
that. A
mm.
lot of times you take that
Woo,
pain and you turn that pain into your power play. It's nothing but net. You get
mm,
what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we
mm,
want to sit in our pain and revel in our pain and play the victim in our
mm.
pain. We want to self-loathe in it. And when I saw you do it, I was like, if she can do it as my sacred sister, and I know what she's gone through. And we even talked about when you said, "Oh, I had a nervous breakdown." I was like, let's change the name of that. This was your breakthrough. This was your
Awakening.
break
That you
up. You know?
awakening. You told me awakening. You said change that word.
Yes,
You ain't had no
and
nervous
that's what
breakdown.
it's
You had
all
an
about.
awakening.
And that's what it's all about, like us changing the narrative in our head and flipping it on its head to be our power play. There has never been a time where I've had a painful situation did not set me up for success for where I wanted to go or what I wanted to do. But when you take that pain and you turn it into a power play and you flip that sucker on his head and you look at the devil and you be like, nah, bruh, we ain't doing that no more. No,
Not
I'm not going
today.
into that bad relationship. Right. No,
Right.
I'm not walking into that messed up situation. I mean, in my head, I thought I could be a sacred stripper at some point in time. Like, let me know where I could go to do this work. I'm dead
Right.
for real. I was like, I'm gonna come in with my
I know. That's why
head
I'm
covered.
laughing.
You see what I'm saying? But when you take the pain and you put
I
it
know
and
you
you
for
flip
real.
it on its
That's why it's
head,
so funny.
I'm for real. In my head, it worked. In my head, I wasn't willing to wait. In my head, I was like, I could do this and then go back to the old ways. It
You
don't
know
work
why?
like that, y'all.
You was gonna go to the strip club. You was gonna go to the strip club and start healing everybody there.
Yep,
You saw a middle ground. I get it.
I did.
I get it.
And look, and I was willing to run with it too until you was like, girl, please don't do that. We're not going back there no more. So that's what I want everybody to say. And then another point about it, and,
That's
and,
it.
and
We
this
done.
helps me, is that you got to laugh with it. You got to laugh with it and enjoy these precious moments,
Yes.
because we only get
Yes.
we get so
Yes.
many lifetimes to
Yes.
come back, but we really got to enjoy these precious moments, because in these moments of being present,
Yes.
that's when
Because
I
you only
sit
get
with
right now.
God. Yeah, that's when I
Yes.
sit with God. I sit with breath.
Yes.
I sit with all understanding, unconditional love, all of these moments, y'all. Self love for the win. I'm telling, and I'm drinking, and I'm drinking. It's some
Self
tea
love for the win. Self love for
for
the
real,
win. Oh man, like
for the
this
win.
chat is oh, she said, will you she said, can you archive this, please? Of course, I definitely will. I knew this was gonna be a great show because all of the mishaps that we was having in, I said, oh yeah, I said this is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a good one. I want y'all to know when I got my locks, I was in Africa and probably did you call me or text me?
I think I text you.
You texted me or did you call me? Anyway,
I
you
can't remember, but I
contacted
think
me
I was like,
and
it's
said
time.
it's time, and you said to get it done in the motherland. So it's because of Pravi who pushed me and who coerced me to get it locked in the motherland. So yeah,
Right.
thank you, Pravi. And I'm
Make
gonna
sure
tell you a
you get it
secret,
locked
Pravi.
here.
I
Because I told
almost
you there's
combed
an
my locks
energy.
out 2 weeks ago. Did you hear me?
Say what?
I almost combed my locks out 2 weeks ago. I almost combed my locks out 2 weeks ago. And
Oh, no, no,
you
no,
know
no,
my
no.
journey. Because remember when I got my hair locked, my hair was down here. Remember that. So when she
And you
locked
cried like a
my
baby.
hair was
She
here.
cried. And it looks
I
so
cried. So
good.
I'm like,
It looks
oh, I
so
went to
good.
Thank you.
You went through your own
I'm growing
ascension.
into it, but I really
Yeah.
did. I really did. And you did too. And you had got your sister locks done and they look amazing. They are beautiful.
Thank
But one of the reasons
you.
why I had wanted to comb my locks out is because, of course, I remember I was going through the process. I didn't like it because, I had lost, all my hair shrunk on my neck. But that was an insecurity issue. That's the thing about the lock journey. It makes you love yourself, accept yourself for who you are.
Exactly.
Okay?
With
Also,
no
with
ifs, ands, or buts
your
about
locks,
it.
you have to
I
know
was looking like the thing from Rugrats. You know, the little thing from Rugrats. It was so thin, and now
listen, I
it
was
looks
looking like
great.
Chewbacca. I was looking like Chewbacca. I had my hair was down
Right.
here and then it came up here and it was looking crazy once it started budding. But what I wanted to say was, when we had gone through the journey, our head, our crown is so powerful. So we're
Yes.
locks. We are locking that energy in. So I was like, you know what? I went through a lot. I'm gonna comb it out and I'm gonna start over. And spirit snatched me up and said, girl, you got the tools. Do and you can move that energy right up out of your locks. Shut up and keep moving on your journey.
Yes.
Stop with this insecureness. You're coming too far for this. Keep your locks and keep
We
going.
didn't
So
come this far to come this far. You know?
exactly,
And I love you. Thank
exactly.
you for doing
So
the
is
work
there
that
anything
you're doing.
I love you more. I love you more. Thank you for doing the work. So is there any last words you want to say? The hour went by so fast. Like, oh my
It
God. Is there anything you want to
did.
say? Any last words?
I just want to say,
It did.
my last words would probably be, you get on this journey, treasure it. Treasure all parts of it.
Mm,
Remove all of the shame and guilt and get radically honest with yourself and forgive all parts of you. And lean on the frequency of love and not fear. Always stay in the frequency of love. When
mhm,
those thoughts come up and it's a negative thought, put a question mark behind it and say, is that true? Is that
mhm,
true? And
mhm.
if you know it's not true, then send it back to the pits of where it came from. Then I know where I need to be.
I
Get
know
out of
that's
the
right.
victim space. Get out of the victim space and put the power back into your hands. Ego will tell you a lot.
I say,
That's all I got.
I
That's all
say,
I got. And self
I
love.
say. I love you, sister. So I'm gonna be hitting you up soon. Because we gotta talk. We gotta talk. We
Yes.
gotta talk. I'm maybe I don't want to say online, but I'm gonna hit you up and I'm gonna call you and we gotta talk.
Come on and tell me you're moving to Atlanta. I'm ready. Come on and tell me. Come on and
Not
tell me.
moving, not moving. But I don't
Oh,
want to
you
say it
coming for a
online because
visit. Okay.
it's a lot of energies, a lot of energy. I don't want nothing to get stopped.
Right,
So
right, right.
I'm gonna
Well,
I'm gonna
thank
call you.
you.
Okay. I
I
love
can't
you
wait for the
so
call.
much.
And thank you for everyone who tuned in
Mwah.
today.
Take care. Have a good one.
Peace.
Yes, I hope y'all got that blessing because this is sacred. That was sacred probably all the time since I've known her. She always was a firecracker, and I was like, I knew this was going to be a good show with her on. So, with that being said, thank you, 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 thank you for sticking through with me. I be having some powerful messages coming through on this podcast, but I always got interference. I always got interruptions, but I am not stopping. I am going to persevere. I don't care about them birds chirping in the background because you know why? If anybody that knows me know that I am getting over fear of birds. So by me having these birds in my house is kudos to me. It's a triumph for me. I'm still working through it and I'm going to make it through but this airport next to me and it's jacking up my internet and then everybody want to go live at 8 p.m. on Thursdays now. They have StreamYard has so much traffic slowing down the internet. I don't care about that. I don't care how much it lag. I'm going to get this message out until the Most High said, don't worry, baby. Now it's time for you to go into the studio and you're going to have this producer, that producer, and blah, blah, that. I'm putting that out there in the atmosphere. Thank you, Most High. So, like, how I always end it. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you for sticking through with me from the first season. Now this is my second season. Thank you for sticking through every podcast. Thank you for sticking through to the end of the episode. Um, please like, share, and subscribe. This is probably like, I think this is my 23rd show, and this is my second time saying that because you have to know I really do this for the love. I'm really not doing this for the like, share, and subscribe or the followers. I'm really doing this, but this is what's on my heart, and this is what's on my this is what's on my spirit, and I also stutter. So I'm not gonna let that stop me from getting this message out as well. Um, excuse me. So yeah, please like, share, and subscribe. Please get the word out. Please get the message out. Um, my dog Oreo, he didn't bark today. um, God bless him. He normally shows up. So I'll always end with, have you done something for yourself today? What did you do for you today? How about, are you on a path that you want to be on? What is stopping you? What is holding you back? Are you drunk with negative thoughts about you can't do this because of that, or you can't do that because of this? Well, I am here to tell you that I am a true testimony that you can do anything that you want to do, no matter what adversities may face you. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what mental state you're in. I don't care what your finances look like. Everybody should go out and get this book called The Alchemist. Um, and I'm not going to spoil it, but it's basically about whatever you want to do. The universe will conspire each and every day and everything to make sure that you have it. Because if it's on your heart and that's what you really want to do, and that's what makes your spirit sing, is because that's what you was born to do. That's where your prosperity is at. That's where your blessing is at. So I'll always ask and I'll always end the show with this. What did you do for yourself today? You get up, you have to go to work, you have to fulfill somebody else's dream. If you work for somebody else, you're making them richer, or if you're an entrepreneur. I know how it is when you're an entrepreneur, you're working 24 hours, especially if you have a family. You have a family, you don't get no days off. You have to take care of your children. We don't give love to ourselves. So I challenge you, before this day is over, before this night is over, it's only 9:03, and the podcast is getting ready to end. It's only 9:03. Do something for you tonight. It could be a small thing. Whether you tell your children to go in a room and give you 10 to 15 minutes to yourself. Whether you go online and if you have only $100, you go online and buy something from Amazon for $10. Something to make you feel good. Because if you don't feel good, and if you're not doing what you're supposed to do for you, how can you do it for anybody else? That's when you start to deplete yourself. And always remember that when you have to move to the next step in your life, the door is only made for you to go through. A lot of times we try to take everyone with us. You may just have to let go everything and everybody just to get through that door. And once you get that through that door and you do what you need to do for yourself, then you could go back and you could show everybody else how to get through their door. So I want to say thank you. I love y'all. Thank you so kindly again for tuning in. Thank you so kindly for staying to the end. Thank you so kindly for showing up and showing out for me. Excuse me. And while I try to get this mental health message out, and always remember, today is not your tomorrow. Your situation is not who you are. That's just your situation. I want y'all to hear me say that again. I don't care what anybody is going through. Your today is not your tomorrow. Who you are right now, you may not be that person a year from now. And if somebody say, and if you on that journey to elevate and to change yourself for the better and change your environment, and if you have somebody that says, oh, you change, say thank you. Because if you 40 something years old, you ain't supposed to be acting like you 25. You're not supposed to have a mind frame, a mental of a 25-year-old. Your vernacular is supposed to be different. The way you walk, the way you talk, everything Your aura should be different. So if you feel like you need to do what you need to do for you, make sure you do it. Do it for yourself. And the more you are committed to yourself, the more you will be happy on this planet. The more you will be able to let go of bitterness, depression, and anxiety, and all those nasty energies. And that ego will be fed less, less, and less and less. Because that's who wants to get fed. The ego. Like I said, the ego's a nasty energy. So I'm off of this. Um, I don't want to bore nobody. We've been on here for exactly an hour and 2 minutes. I will see you guys next week. Same time, same place. Don't think too hard. And the reason why I renamed the podcast Don't Think Too Hard. Because I gotta end it with my Ibaye, my Egun, my ancestors, my Uncle Mort, Daddy O, Lamonti. He was one of my favorite uncles. I am the way I am because of him. He used to do his thing. He was the road manager for Wu Tang. When he left the street life, he was very successful in the music industry, and he used to live in Virginia, but he used to travel around the world, and he used to always come visit me as a little girl. And he used to always come in with minks, furs, all kind of foreign cars and everything. And all I saw was the flashiness. And he always was peeling off hundreds. Here, go get your nails, or go do this, go do that. And I said, I want to be just like you. And he said, you want to be just like me? Go to school for business management. And I've been about my business ever since. And he always would say, don't think too hard, since I had my nervous breakdown. But he just transitioned in December of 2023 from cancer. Um, but the funny thing about it is the irony. The cancer didn't even take him out. He was stage 3. Um, he had a stroke. He was thinking too hard. And I said, oh my God, the cancer didn't even take him out. The stress, he was a cook, he was a chef, and he had all kind of things going on. So he had throat cancer, so he couldn't taste his food. And he was a warrior. He was a warrior. Do you hear me? This man was a warrior. And for him not to be able to move the way he wanted to move, and I guess he didn't see healing at the end of the road, not knowing that he could have. It just would have took a little bit longer, if he just would have stuck it out. But he was thinking too hard, and that's what took him out. And I said, damn. So I named this podcast Don't Think Too Hard after my uncle Lamonti Mitchell. On the street they called him Born Knowledge. In the music industry they called him Daddy-O. And my father, who transitioned in 2020, he used to always say, the idle mind is a devil's playground. He used to always say, watch your thoughts, watch your thoughts, watch your thoughts. Ironic, he died from a stroke from thinking too hard. The two men, my two elders in my family, my two elder men who I adored, and they was very fond of each other. They was very, very fond of each other. And the two men who I looked up to, they was thinking too hard. The same two men that kept telling me, watch your thoughts. The thoughts took them out. So I dedicate this podcast to them. I'm ready. I had to hold that tear back. I dedicate this podcast to them. My father, James L. Harrison Jr., my uncle, Lamonti Mitchell, and to everyone else, to all my ancestors, and to everyone that's looking at this podcast, and to everyone who has ever been through something in life and they feel like they just can't get out of it. And they feel like it's just too late. And they feel like they are drunken and worn down with their thoughts. And if they feel as if though they have shame and guilt, I'm here to tell you I am living proof. And I'm not going to tell you that it's going to be easy. It's going to be a battle. Because you are fighting your old self and you're fighting all the demons that's attached to that, all of the vibrations that's attached to that. But every time you come through an ascension, baby, it's so beautiful. And you are able to lift your spirit and raise your spirit. So I want to say I love y'all. I think I got to get off of here because I had to hold back some tears just now because I meant that from the heart. Do something for yourself tonight, no matter how big or how small it is. I love y'all. Stay safe and take care of you. Ashay.